Welcome to another episode of What the Fuck Star Wars, a series where I talk about some of the more what the fuck things of Star Wars. You could also call this nightmare fuel, because it is.
You're fulfilling your destiny.
Good luck. Oh, and watch out for the Boneworms. Boneworms? What are Boneworms? Nothing really. Just wriggling creatures that come out of the ground. They'll suck the marrow from your bones if you stay still too long. This episode, I want to talk about Boneworms, which are thankfully no longer canon. Thank you, Disney. I don't say that often enough. Boneworms were first seen in Galaxy of Fear series Book 2, City of the Dead, which again is no longer canon. Boneworms were a nematode native to Necropolis, a tomb world located in the Core Worlds, and were actually a common place there, being one of the few remaining indigenous species to survive on that world. A vermiform creature, Boneworms had long, slimy, off-white, fat bodies ranging from a few centimeters to over a meter in length that secreted a mucus-like substance to help them move and tunnel. They also lacked a sense of smell and were blind. When seeing these creatures, you would often hear a crunching sound, and then a gleaming, slimy white shape would wriggle into the ground where you had just been standing. Blind worms that can't smell? That doesn't sound that scary. So what's so WTF about these creatures? I'm not glad you asked. Well, boneworms weren't named for their color. These creatures actually survived on bone marrow. And who has bone marrow? You. You have bone marrow. Using their powerful lamprey-like jaws, they could quickly and easily strip away flesh and break bone. Thankfully, they typically feasted on the recent dead, using the ground vibrations of living creatures to detect when movement stopped, signaling death, to tunnel to the surface and feast. If the meal showed signs of life, it would then burrow back underground. However, they were known to feast on unconscious targets, so don't pass out. Otherwise, they can and will easily dig through your skin to suck the marrow from your bones. If you awakened when they first found you, you would feel something wet and squishy stuck to you, and feel a sharp pain, as if something was gnawing at you, because it was. If you woke up while they were sucking the marrow from your bones, you'd probably just pass out again, and they'd finish the job. The inhabitants of this world hated these things so much they even tried to exterminate them, but only succeeded in causing them to migrate under the world's many, many cemeteries. You know, Necropolis, where they would eat in peace. But that didn't mean these creatures wouldn't pop up in other places as well. But hey, let's end this WTF by reading a passage from a time a conscious person was actually being attacked by boneworms because I want other people to have nightmares just like me. Above his head he saw the wood of his coffin bulge inward and crack. A fat, white, wriggling thing appeared, squirming as it tried to enlarge the hole it made. Using his glow rod, Zack poked the worm and it recoiled. It was a futile gesture. Boneworms were burrowing a dozen holes in his coffin. Confined as he was, Zack couldn't reach them all. He saw one of the pale white worms drop into the coffin with him. Another, then another, followed. Zack felt a sickly wet slap on his cheek, and he felt something crawl right across his mouth. Something else tickled his ear. Yeah! Zack thought he would be sick. He pulled the boneworms away from his head and flicked them down towards his feet, where the worms splattered against the coffin wall. The boneworms left a trail of slime where they had crawled on his skin. Zack wiped it quickly away, remembering what Evazan had said about the final ingredient in his reanimation serum. More and more boneworms plopped through the openings in the coffin. He couldn't stop them all. Even if he could, his lungs were burning. He was nearly out of oxygen. He tried to get one more lungful of air as more boneworms wriggled wetly across his skin. Fuck that.
Thanks so much for watching. Please like the video and subscribe for more Star Wars videos.